Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I have a treat for you today. We have Ashley O'Hara, and she is from Dayton, Ohio, and she's going to tell us all about her business, and how you guys what's going on in the Dayton, Ohio market. So welcome, and thank you for coming to our show today. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share Dayton with you and all it has to offer.
Yeah, and what we do here is we envision. So what we do is everything you say, it's like I'm envisioning being in Dayton. So I love that we can learn about all new places just by having a nice little chat about video. All right, so tell us about Ashley, about your family, your growing up, your schooling, and how you started in real estate. How about we go there?
So I am originally from Louisville, Kentucky, which is about 2.5 hours from here. I'm one of 4 girls. I happen to be a twin. And everyone always asks me, like, oh, are you identical? And she has red hair and freckles. So no, we are not identical, but we're fairly close, I think. Unfortunately, we don't live in the same city. That would be nice, but we still, get together a lot. But I grew up, I started playing tennis because my parents have played tennis forever. Kind of stopped that when I was 13 because I started swimming year round and had some shoulder issues. But when I went off to college, I ended up swimming D3 at Trinity University, which is in San Antonio. Really enjoyed that. And I was an art and art history major, thought I wanted to go into art conservation because I thought it sounded really cool. And then I realized you are in a room by yourself all day, like, over a painting, cleaning something. And I was like, I need to be around people. So I worked for a little bit after college in an art gallery. I was an assistant director. And then I met my husband. We've been married for 21 years now. Nice. He is retired Air Force, so we moved around a bit with that. And then we have 3 beautiful children. They're 17, 15, and 12. And so
got your hands full.
Yes, I have my hands full. I worked a little bit in marketing, like before I had my kids. And then once I had them, I took some time off. And just a few years ago was, looking to get back into working. And it was something I decided I'd do real estate because moved a lot and looked at a lot of houses and, learned what it's like to have challenging moves and wanted to make that easier for people. So it was a good way for me to help people and have some flexibility with my kids. So
I love that. So what I'm seeing is you're a military spouse, so you moved around a lot. You've dealt with a lot of different realtors in a lot of different cities, and you've moved your family around so that you are such a great resource of anyone that's coming in. Yeah, because you've handled every situation, right?
Yeah, I know what it's like to have to find a new area, figure out new schools, finding a new doctor, somebody to do your hair, a dentist, whatever.
All those things, yes. Yeah. So you must be the girl of whatever you need to know, whether it's doctors, hair, tennis, schools, gymnastics, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then if I don't, I have networks of, people that do, or I can find out, I'm part of a pretty big moms group. Started out in Oakwood. It's called the Moms of Oakwood, but we've grown. We're over 600 members, and you don't have to live there just to be part of the moms group. We have people all over. So
I love that.
It's also a good way for people to connect and make friends and just have activities. They have play groups and cooking club and game night and all that fun stuff.
And that's a great resource for all your clients coming into town that don't know anybody too, because a lot of people, when they do come into town, they don't have any friends or family. You're kind of like the first person they talk to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So tell us about your area, where you sell, and what type of properties you sell.
Okay. So I'm focused in the Dayton area. Technically I could go all over Ohio if I wanted, but I really, just want to focus on Dayton. And that includes all the way up to Piqua, which is about an hour north, and then I'll go down to Middletown.
Okay.
But I live in Oakwood, so I kind of, do a lot of business around there and Kettering, but I've also helped families like in Beavercreek and Bellbrook, way up in Clayton. So I work with sellers, buyers, investors, just, whoever has a need. But I really do love supporting my military families. And I say military, but we also have a really large like civilian network because the base is so big. So I had a family that moved from Maryland. They came in for their spring break because they were moving here and for a job relocation. And I helped them, they didn't know anybody, didn't know any realtors. And so we did all of that. So
that's fantastic. So yeah, so it's definitely a big military area. So
Sure.
where's the base located?
So the base is sort of, I'm trying to think, it's like northeast of town. Like,
okay.
So we have downtown Dayton, and then we have 75 that runs north-south, and then we have 70 that goes east-west. So it's like south of 70, and then we have 675 that like kind of cuts off over to Columbus. So it's kind of like nestled in between 675 and 70. But it's really easy to get to just about anything in the area because of the way everything's like situated. So that's really
great.
Nice.
So could you tell us like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home? Let us know like how much square footage, what would be like an average price in Oakwood, and what are property taxes?
Okay. So Oakwood itself is pretty small. It's only like 2 miles long.
Okay.
We have one high school. We have one junior high and then 2 elementary schools.
Okay.
So it's pretty small. It's a walking community. There's no buses. So I just want to clarify that. Like it's known for its schools, but you also have to like realize that some houses are a little bit smaller, they're maybe around like $325 for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Okay.
A 4-bedroom might be like $400, $450. But then there's other areas like Kettering. Like our average price point, I think, is about $325 across the board. I think median it was like $275. So it really just depends, kind of like the area that you want to be in. Like Beavercreek's probably pretty similar price point. Yeah, I don't know if that's helpful.
So, I mean, that's a good price point. So, that's always good to know. So some people have an idea. So in the Dayton area, you're going to find something in the 3, like between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And taxes, like your property taxes, are they a percentage of the, what percentage are they? So if you buy, say, a $400,000 property, what would your taxes be?
So it really depends upon which town you're in, because which town you're in is which school you go to. And so some are a little bit higher based on the school system. So some people say like Centerville, Beavercreek, Oakwood, like we're on the higher end, but yet there are some places that they have a township. And so you don't have to pay like an income tax, or the taxes might be a little lower. So that's why it's really important, like to talk to a realtor who knows the area.
That's your budget, so are you saying like 1% or less than 1% or between 1 and 2%? What percentage, like average?
So I don't know the exact percent. I would say like a house that's $325 in Oakwood, your property taxes are going to be about $6,000 a year.
Okay, so it's like 2%. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Like, I think that a lot of people, they come from different parts of the country and when they come here, they're like, oh, that's a lot for taxes. Or some people say that's nothing, so I always feel like that's a conversation to have with everybody that comes in.
For sure.
So we just want to tell our viewers that it's around 2%,
Yeah.
That's what you're going to pay on taxes.
But I also feel like in some ways you pay for what you get.
Of course.
Because like, they put that money into, the schools or the neighborhood and things like that, like my kids all go to public school, but I feel like it's like a private school. It's like so good and it's so small. So I feel like I'm paying for what I get kind of thing. So
exactly. So that's another really selling point, which goes to my next question. What are driving people to your area besides military? Because I know we talked about military.
Yeah.
What else?
That's definitely a big part of it. Like I want to say there's like 30,000 people that work at the base. There's a lot of like defense contractors, like aerospace, but also like National Cash Register was started here, NCR. So like the first cash register was made here. We have Reynolds and Reynolds, which is like an automotive company, or I think it's like parts or services and things like that. But we also have LexisNexis. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes.
There's a lot of, hospitals. We have 2 universities, University of Dayton, and we have Wright State University. So there's quite a bit here.
Yeah. So going into school, like universities and stuff. So do you deal with a lot of people that are buying college houses for their college kids and renting out, and investors in that area as well?
I have seen that a little bit, not a whole lot, but definitely, something to consider. Like there's an area near University of Dayton where people buy quite a bit. So,
okay. So what's like the biggest challenge when people are coming from, say, California, Texas, New York? They're coming to your area. What are some of the challenges that people face?
Well, just trying to, I think, pinpoint which neighborhood they want to be in, as far as like their commute or like the school system, or, some of those areas, if they have a short turnaround, they don't have a lot of time to find something that can make it challenging, because some of those areas you can get multiple offers. I feel like it's slowing down a little bit. But another thing to consider that most people don't know about is here we pay our property taxes in arrears.
Okay.
Because in 1913 we had a flood, and we had this financial hardship for people. So in order to like assess all the damage and things like that, they decided to hold off on charging property taxes. So our July payment was actually for last year.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's really interesting as well. So also when you're selling a house, that you have to take that into effect of what year you paid your taxes, right? Because they could be a big, it could be a sizable amount of money that you owe when you sell a house in a certain month, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then also we do something short proration and long proration for taxes, and like short benefits the seller and long benefits the buyer. So those are things that you have to think about.
Wow, that's really interesting. So what I'm seeing is, if you're buying in Dayton, you definitely need someone who knows all the ins and outs of these property taxes. So that's really kind of cool. Okay, so we talked about like all the industries that are in your area. What are some of the popular activities and hobbies that people are doing in your area?
Well, we have tons of metro parks and just neighborhood parks. So, a lot of the neighborhoods have like a splash pad and things like that, for kids. We have something called the Rails to Trails program. I think maybe some other states have adopted that, but we have like over 40,000 trails, not just in Dayton, but in the entire state. So like my husband has ridden his bike up to Cleveland or down to Cincinnati. Wow. I mean, it's a long ride, but those are cool things to do. But, we have hiking, we've got the Dayton Art Institute, the Boonshock Museum of Science, which is a really fun kids museum. When my kids were younger, we would get a family membership and you'd pop in for, an hour or two if you had time to kill, and then get back home for naps and things like that. Trying to think what else. Like we have the Dayton
tennis. I'm sure you have tennis and golf and pickleball.
Oh yes,
like that.
Yes, we have talked about tennis. I play on a tennis league with. There's a couple tennis centers here: Kettering Tennis Center, Quail. There's Schroeder, South Regency. So we're actually just had districts this past weekend for one set of teams, and then another one for next weekend. I also mountain bike a lot. Like we have
Yes, I know you do.
mountain bike trails. I'm hoping we have our ladies ride tonight, but it's not looking good with all the rain.
Weather, yes. Unfortunately, that's not good. So,
yeah.
All right. So, talking about the weather, what kind of weather do we see in Dayton, Ohio? Do you see the 4 seasons? How cold does it get? Do you get snow? Tell us about the weather.
We definitely have 4 seasons. You do not come here to be a snowbird. We do some winters we get quite a bit of snow, some we don't. It's really just like hit or miss. But we definitely have a fall where we have the beautiful leaves changing, and the spring when everything's blooming, and then summer can be kind of humid, but sometimes it's really hot and sometimes it's not too bad. So just sort of depends.
Okay, that's really good. All right, so let's get into like culture, music, museums, theaters. I know you talked a little bit about that, but what else? What other kind of cultures are you seeing? Do you have like a lot of different culture restaurants and things like that in your area?
Well, so my husband and I, we always say like Dayton's the secret state. Like you think there's not a lot to do here, but there really is. Like I feel like they have a festival for just about like everything, like the Celtic Festival, the Chocolate Festival, the Popcorn Festival, the Sugar Maple Festival.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah. Like it's like every little
festival for everything. So every weekend there's a different festival.
Kind of, yeah. Especially like in the spring and the fall. We have like a Renaissance festival that comes to town. We have something called the Levitt Pavilion downtown where they have free music, usually a couple nights a week. We have the Fraze Pavilion. I saw the Ava brothers there recently. And then we have the Rose Music Center, which is up a little bit north in Huber Heights. So we get, not all the big names, but we get a good number of, people that I would love to see. But we're also like an hour from Columbus and Cincinnati. So, if you want to see some of the bigger things there, or if you want to go to like a Reds game, that's down in Cincinnati, or OSU football. So those are kind of some of the things. We have Oktoberfest, the Dayton Art Institute puts on in October. Well, actually, it's technically September, but there's an arts component, like a bunch of like art vendors and things like that, and they have music and beer steins and all that fun stuff. So, yep.
That sounds amazing. Like all the different festivals, all the different things. Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about what you love to do outside of real estate.
What I love to do. Well, I think I mentioned playing tennis and, mountain biking. I love to do yoga. Speakeasy is a really awesome, like hot yoga gym that I like to go to. I always end up I do stuff with my kids. It seems like, I'm at like band concerts, and my daughter played club lacrosse this summer. So I traveled with her to Indianapolis and Pennsylvania for that. My younger son in the past has done a swim team, just like a local swim team. And that's always fun for me to watch, just, from my years of swimming. Like I mentioned before, we have the Oakwood Moms Club, so I do a lot with that, like a book club and cooking club. Those are some of my favorites. They usually have like a mom's night out. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I haven't made it to game night, but I have some good friends that love that. Like, it's kind of like you can find your people and your thing that you
absolutely. I love that. So what I'm seeing is it's very family orientated. Because you have 3 kids, you are so involved in the schools, you're so involved in all their activities, and there's just something for everyone. And you've got sports, you've got, outdoor activities, and lots of festivals is what we're seeing there in Dayton.
I also forgot we have the Dayton Dragons, I don't know, minor league team or whatever it is. But that's always fun. Like, oftentimes, like as the kids get older in like 4th and 5th grade, they'll have them come like sing the national anthem and stuff like that. So then you get the whole school that goes together. And yeah, it can be a lot of fun. So,
well, yeah, it's been so great to hear all about Dayton. And then I have a question for you. So I always ask everybody, where have you traveled to that you suggest that you love, or what's on your bucket list to travel?
oh, wow. Well, when I was in college, I went to Italy for a semester abroad. I would love to take my kids back there, but I just haven't had a chance. I'd really love to go to like Portugal or Costa Rica, maybe Australia. Those are kind of some of the places that I think of. I think one place that I think is a lot of fun for mountain biking, at least for me, was Bentonville, Arkansas. Like they have like so many different trails, and they also have like lots of kids museums and really good restaurants. That's always been a lot of fun. So. And I think a place that most people don't think of.
Well, and I went to Bentonville, because my husband is into the mountain biking, watching it, and the World Championship was there. And that was so amazing. It was like in January one year, a couple years ago, we went, and it was just like, you never would expect that all of a sudden, like you're in the middle of nowhere. And so, yeah, I definitely like that. So I see that on your bucket list, you said, is Italy, which, we all love. Is there a specific part of Italy that you love?
Well, so my semester abroad was in Florence, and I studied a lot of art history while I was there, and like the food was amazing. And I kind of liked it more than Rome because it wasn't as crowded. It's just a little bit more quaint and like easier to get around. But I also loved traveling while I was there. Like I went to Pompeii, and Herculaneum is like a little town like outside there that was closer to Mount Vesuvius. And so like it was really cool to see everything that had been preserved there, because not only was it covered in ash, it eventually was covered in lava. So everything was like preserved a lot better. And so that was really cool.
Yeah. I love that. So tell us about a client that you dealt with that was like a rewarding or hit your heart. Because I always like to give like a little story just that people can see how you do the real estate world.
Yeah. So I'd say one sort of challenging, well, some of my challenging clients, being military, not being in town, like I literally had some clients in Alaska that I had to find a home for. And so I would go around and do video tours. Sometimes they were on the phone, sometimes they weren't because just bad reception. So I'd just take a video. I would upload that to Google Docs, or the Google Drive, I should say. And then that would give them access to look at it like anytime they needed to. Because also they were dual military. So not only am I having to worry about like pulling them both out of work, or one out of work, but both. And, sometimes they work in a place where they can't get on the internet. Like they have to go out to their car because they can't have their phones in the building and things like that. So being able to do that for them and like give them the confidence that they can trust that we're going to find a good property for them. It can be challenging, but at the same time rewarding when you finally find that right one. Like some of them, we were in a really hot market, like you'd have to put multiple offers in and you'd get outbid. And so, being able to finally find that forever home for them is good.
Yeah. And I love that. So you have the background of a military, and of course, when you're dealing, I know that I deal with some military too as well. And I had one guy who was in a bunker all the time. So I never could get in touch with them. Right. Like he would just be like texting me when we could talk and stuff, because he never knew when he was out and about. So just having that, and, technology nowadays, like you said, putting things in Google Drive, having them look at it, and them having the confidence in you, as well as you are asking tons of questions, knowing where they want to be, and you get that I love that. So I have, go ahead.
I was just going to say that being able to like point out things in the home that you think could potentially show up on an inspection, like maybe be a problem area, like that's important too, because they can't see everything. And so they want to trust you to be that it's going to be a good purchase for them. So
Yeah, and I love that because it's just so true. Like I always point out, like, and you always, it's hard to do stuff sight unseen because you always feel like, oh no, like what if they don't like it? But I like actually go through the house and I go, there's a nick there, and there is a nick there, and
Right.
this needs to be painted, and this carpet needs to be probably replaced. So just telling them the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think is just great.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Everything about you. I love your background in art history that I didn't know about. And I love art. So obviously you see some art behind me too. I love art. So that's fantastic. And we both love tennis. So why not be friends here? So,
Yes.
So is there anything that we did not talk about that you want to tell our viewers about Dayton or about yourself?
I mean, I can't think of anything at the moment. I feel like you were pretty thorough in covering it all. So.
Yeah, I mean, so if you want to go to Dayton, which I think is I think it's just a family place, and like you said, there's so much military there that Ashley is the person you need to talk to. She's been through it. She has the guidance, and she has the connections in her mom's groups, and just really just connecting. She's a big connector in the community, so that's what we see with her. So thank you so much for being on our video podcast. We really enjoyed having you, and thank you so much, and you have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.